Hey folks, you want to talk a little bit about feed, nutrition, a little bit about supplements, all that stuff that's going into making that mule and donkey fat? Let's talk a little bit about that. My name's Dave, this is Steve Edwards, and we're going to talk about your feed and nutrition program, mostly as it pertains to, I got a fat mule. So Steve, is it okay for a mule to be fat? Do we need to get that fat off their bones, make sure they're nice and thin and they are the Victoria's Secret of the mule and donkey world? Or is it okay for them to have a little meat on their bones?
Well, it's amazing how many people will look at somebody's mule and say, when's that mule going to have that baby? And of course, they don't realize that mules they cannot reproduce.
Joke's on them.
They're so fat, you know. And here's the thing, folks. You putting a horse body on a donkey bone structure. You're putting a horse body on them little bitty hooves. And they can't afford it, and neither can you and I. I mean, we're all too fat. I know I am especially, you know. So here's the thing. We have to watch their nutritional value. I was talking with one of my clients the other day, and they were saying how they fed them, and they took a great big round bale and put out in the middle of a feeder, and all their mules just went on it and they ate all day long. And I asked him, I said, do you eat all your meals at the smorgasbord? And he says, no. Why? I said, that's what you're doing to your mules. You're telling them go ahead and eat all they want, and they literally, folks, they will. They'll camp on that bale of hay. They'll camp on that round bale of hay. They'll do that, okay? And because they can. Mules like to chew. Horses like to chew. Donkeys like to chew. Why is that? Because their teeth are continually erupting. They're about that long up in the mouth. And as they get older, they get shorter and shorter and shorter. See? So let's go on. If they chew, they feel good. Oh boy, this is a good deal, okay? The downside is, folks, you're grass foundering your mule. You'll see the heavy fat pocket along the crest of the neck, along the dock of the tail, and across the top of the ribs. It's one of the reasons I don't have wide saddles. I have narrow saddles so that we don't put pressure upon them rib pockets. You know, so a good diet, Dave, is extremely important. But here's the most important part of a good diet: having them each in a separate pen. Each mule has its stall. 20 by 20 would be the average stall I'd like to see you have.
I have free feed out in the pasture. Why would I keep them in a stall? I can just send them out there, let them have as much free feed as it is, and let them be out there with their buddies. Why would I put them in a stall?
They don't need it, folks. They don't need all the calories that are out there. You don't know what's in that grass. It's just sure it's out there. They don't need to be out there, especially all that in the spring when the carbohydrates, sugar content's really heavy. They don't need to be out there. Listen, folks, you cannot watch how healthy they are putting them out on a pasture. You put on them out on a pasture, you might as well be putting a steer out there to butcher. So if they're in a small stall, guess what? You're going to be able to tell how much water intake they've taken in. You're going to be able to tell how much feed they're taking in. You can look at their road apples and see that they're good and healthy and green and the right shape. You can see their urinate spots where they are urinating, and you can tell how healthy they are. You can do that. So that's one of the biggest things when it comes down to the feeding program is you can't have them all in a pen. Everybody's eating whatever they want, and they go to fighting over it. Now, I can tell you that when you put a lot of mules like that together, they will fuss over being in a particular place and eat a particular place, this sort of thing, and they'll kick at each other, all right? Now you got a vet bill. You got one that's kicked in the hocks. Now he's got a capped hock. Now you got a vet bill, you know? And is it really worth it? No, you know? Put them in a small stall. Oh, but let me tell you this. My wife's 28-year-old mule, when we got her as a 2-year-old, she spent 26 years in a 10 by 20 stall. That's what she did. Sure, did she go riding? Absolutely. Did she pull a wagon? Oh, yeah. You know, did she train a lot of people? Oh, yeah. But her home was right there. And I was able to make her get to 28 years by using the right feed and the right program.
So we've got a video. We're not going to go into all of the right feeding program in this, because if you want that, you can go to muleranch.com/feed talk, and Steve's got a full-length video. It's free. It's with James Weatherford, who is formerly, at the time, he was with Lakin Milling, and he is the one that would supply Steve with the feed that Steve used, which is Lakin Light. And now there's a lot of places around the country where you're unable to get Lakin Light. It's a pellet feed. It has all the vitamins and minerals that you're going to want your mule or your donkey to get into their system, part of their nutrition program. So go get that video. Star Milling is one that you can look for if Lakin Light, if Lakin Milling isn't available. And if you can't find anything Star Milling or Lakin Milling, we've got another link that we're going to put in the comment section below, where you can go to the muleranch.com website. We're going to put a link there, and you can find all of the ingredients for the Lakin Light. Take that to your feed shop. Say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. What do you have that's closest? Now, Steve, one question that I do have about when you're putting that Lakin Light ingredients out there, are there any other additional, minerals or supplements that you would be wanting to feed to your animal, just as a general rule of thumb?
That Lakin Light pellet pretty much has everything that you need. All your vitamins and minerals, your roughage, everything that you need. And what it doesn't have is the salmonella content. It doesn't have the bird droppings or the rat parts or the snake parts in it. And that's what's got to be really important, folks. Remember that a lot of this colic that we get from our animals, and yes, mules and donkeys do colic, okay? But a lot of this colic that we get is because our feed is not clean. Our hay is not clean. And there's a lot of salmonella content in it. If you had it tested, it would blow you away to know what all is in that hay.
All right, folks, that's it. If you have never hung out with me and Steve Edwards during our weekly live Q&A, every year we do 2 seasons, one in the spring, one in the fall, and it is a full hour every single week just answering mule and donkey questions. It's a lot of fun. We've made a lot of great friends. Steve has met folks from all over the world, met folks in that live Q&A, and we'd like to invite you to hang out with us. It's free. All you got to do is show up, and as a matter of fact, if you can't show up live, the replays, we put all the replays up on YouTube and Facebook, and we would love for you to watch us. So go to muleranch.com/live-stream. You can get signed up. We're not going to send you any junk. We're just going to send you mule and donkey goodness. It's going to be amazing stuff that's going to help you gain trust and get result with your animal, and just enjoy being an equine owner. So go to muleranch.com/live-stream, get signed up, and before you exit out here, click like and subscribe to the channel. Steve, we'll see you on the next one, okay?
All right, partner.